Good evening. My name's Jason Debley, and tonight's whiskey review is by an independent bottler, Hart Brothers. From a previous review that I did a while ago, actually about a year ago, I reviewed another release by Hart Brothers, which was Malt 14-year-old single malt. I was at the New Brunswick Spirits Festival, the 20th Spirits Festival, here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, on the eastern coast, just north of Maine, and sampled a wide variety of single malts over the course of a few days. And the highlight is on Friday night, where you're in a ballroom with about, 500 or 1,000 people, and all the vendors are out with their wares for you to try. And I tried a lot of the mainstream single malts, but I was impressed by a few. And the ones I was impressed by were, again, the independent bottlers and Tomatin 14-year-old and Tomatin 18-year-old. The Tomatin 14-year-old was finished in port wood, and it was good. And the other one that impressed me that night was this one, Hart Brothers, blended malt. I think it's a 15-year age statement, 50% ABV, 700 milliliter format, a little bit smaller than the usual 750 milliliters, $85 a bottle in Canada. Distribution is quite limited. This was a special release for the 20th anniversary of the New Brunswick Spirits Festival, but I think this review might be relevant to you because it draws attention to independent bottlers and it draws attention to portwood finishes. I find single malts that are finished in portwood tend to be very good. We don't see a lot of whiskeys finished in portwood because one of the brand reps I was talking to, I won't say who I was talking to, but the supply of portwood casks is rather limited, and then the supply, you have to get good quality portwood casks, and you have to have the right spirit that works with it. So it's kind of fickle, like working with Pinot Noir grape in the wine world. Pinot Noir is a fickle grape. It might make a great wine, it might make a very disappointing one. Cork stopper, very nice. Like I said, it's alcohol by volume 50%. You could drink it straight. Anything over 50% I don't drink neat. And even at 50%, I think you're really pushing it. So the answer is add a little bit of water. How much water? Adjust to taste. You could start by sipping it neat and then add a little bit of water. In my case, the equivalent of a couple of drops. Now, Hart Brothers, no chill filtration, no artificial coloring added. What you see is what you get. I added a little bit of water. I got a little, not really too cloudy actually. But other independent bottlers to explore would be Douglas Lang, Berry Brothers, Gordon and MacPhail. Gordon and MacPhail had some really good whiskey at this festival too. They had a Bunnahabhain 7 or 8-year-old that was outstanding. I went to buy a bottle at the end of the night and it was sold out. I'm big on the independent bottlers, I gotta tell you, as I think you figured out. Okay, let's nose this. It's there's some peat notes. Chocolate fondue. You definitely know you're dealing with some sherry in here. Now, this is a blended malt finished in portwood, but the single malts that made up this blend were sherried whiskeys, I'm pretty sure. And when I talked to Alistair Hart last year, he had a 17-year-old blended malt at the festival. He told me that one of the source distilleries was Glenfarclas, which would make a lot of sense. This year I didn't get the opportunity to talk to him. Actually, I don't think he was at the festival. So I don't know what are the core malts making up this vatted malt. But they're definitely sherried whiskeys, kind of in the tradition of like GlenDronach, Belvany, 12, Glenfarclas. Now, I'm not saying those are the distilleries that make up this blend. They don't identify that, and that might be because of contractual agreements with the source distilleries. So now, on the palate, because I added water, it's creamier. Red fruits abound. Black cherry. Not black cherry like American bourbon can be, but old leather. There's a nuttiness on the finish. Rhubarb. It's very good. It's there's a little bit of smoke, and you taste the smoke after you swallow it, and you like just breathe through your mouth. There's a nice flavor of smoke. It's nice. Rhubarb, blackened toast, a nuttiness, cooked red fruits, watermelon. You know, it's beautiful stuff. Can't even. And the price, $85. I mean, this is great. This is the wind beneath my wings. It completes me. Oh, this is so good. It's under $100 price point. Even at $100 I'd pay this. Hell, I'd go up to $125 for a bottle of this. If you want to try a really good portwood, Balvenie has one at 21-year-old portwood, but that's like $250. Is it better than this? Yeah, but not by much. The other portwood I like a lot is, what is that? Glenmorangie. Quinta Rubin is a port finish. It's pretty good. Not as good as this, but it's good. Independent bottlers, what they do is they have relationships with distilleries or brokers who represent distilleries. And these relationships go back many years and also in contract. And what they do is they go to these distilleries or deal with their brokers or representatives and buy up the stocks that the distilleries don't feel are consistent with the flavor profile for their standard releases. So, Alistair Hart, who is a principal at Hart Brothers, he would go to the distillery or send his people to the distillery, select casks of whiskey from the distillery, because the whiskey will be in those casks, and he will either move them to his own storage facility or leave them there, or move the spirit into his own casks, and then from there he may blend them and then put them back into casks and then finish them in port. Who knows what he does? Portwood, that is. Every independent bottler has a very sophisticated wood management program. And the longer whiskey is in a cask, then it's going to require more sampling over time. There's also more of the angel's share or evaporation that occurs, and that causes the cost of the whiskey to go up. Not to mention the fact that the longer the whiskey sits in the warehouse in casks and requires sampling and employees working, it drives up the cost of whiskey. So that's about it. Hart Brothers. Maybe you can't get this particular bottle, but seek out independent bottlers. Give them a try. They will deliver to you obscure distilleries, unique tastes that are great quality. Cheers. Thank you for tuning in. And give a portwood finish whiskey a try. Cheers.